Hey, Nob Hill Nighthawks, here we are with Module 3, Lesson 3. The focus on this lesson, we are going to continue with our area and perimeter. And our target is, I will be able to demonstrate understanding of area and perimeter formulas by solving multi-step real-world problems. So remember, area and perimeter is something that we did in the last couple lessons. So area is everything on the inside. So if you think of, like if you were going to put carpet in a bedroom, the amount of carpet you need would be the area. Okay, so everything on the inside of a rectangle or a square is your area. Perimeter, I gave an example of the fence. If I have a yard and I'm going to put a fence up, I need to know the perimeter of the yard. It's just all the way around. So we can think about that as we're working through these word problems today. Okay, so we're going to do 3 together, and then you will have 1 to do on your own for your work today. So our first one says the rectangular projection screen in the school auditorium is 5 times as long and 5 times as wide. Okay, that's going to be important. As the rectangular screen in the library. The screen in the library is 4 feet long. That's going to be important. With a perimeter of 14 feet. Okay, that's also going to be important. Where's my highlighter? And then our question is, what is the perimeter of the screen in the auditorium? So we know we have 2 screens that we're talking about. We have the projection screen in the school auditorium, and then we have the screen in the library. So there's 2 different perimeters or areas that we are going to be looking at to help us solve. But we want to know what is the perimeter of the screen in the auditorium, not the library. So you can kind of think about that. That is our question. This is what we're trying to figure out, okay? So because we have 2 screens, I'm going to draw the first one that we already know some things about. So the screen in the library is 4 feet long with a perimeter of 14 feet, okay? So I'm going to draw that so we can work with that a little bit. Okay, so here's our screen in the library. So we know that the perimeter of this is equal to 14 feet. Okay, and we also know that it's 4 feet long. 4 feet long. Okay, but what we don't know is what our width is. So if my perimeter is 14 feet, what we know about rectangle is if this side is 4, then this side is also going to be 4. So we can come down here and say it's also 4 feet. I was going to say 14. So 4 and 4. Well, for us to figure out our width, if we already know our perimeter, we can say 4 plus 4 is 8. Okay, so if we find the difference between 14 and 8, 14 minus 8 leaves us with 6. With my width is not going to be 6, but the total of my 2 sides is going to be 6. So if I break that in half, that lets us know that my width is going to be 3 feet because half of 6 is 3. Okay. So now that we know our length and width of our library screen, so I'm going to make sure we know this is the library. Whoops. I don't want to capitalize library. Okay. Then that we can use that information to figure out the perimeter of the screen in the auditorium, because that's what our question is. What is the perimeter of the screen in the auditorium? Well, let's look back at our question. What did it tell us? It told us that the rectangular projection screen in the auditorium is 5 times as long, 5 times as wide. So think about that for a second. If something is 5 times as long, then we need to multiply it by 5. Okay? So if the length of my library screen was 4, and I multiply that by 5, I'm going to show my work down here. So if I take 4 and multiply that by 5, what does that give us? 4 times 5 is 20. Okay. And then if I have 3 as my width, well then 3 times 5 is equal to 3 times 5, 5, 10, 15, 15 feet. Okay, so now we have our length and width of our screen in the auditorium, but it asked us to use pictures, numbers, or words to show your work. So I'm going to also show our screen in the auditorium. It is bigger, right? Because it said it's 5 times as long and 5 times as wide. So I'm going to show our length and width. This one's 15 feet. And 20 feet. Okay. So if we know that, then we can find our perimeter. So remember, our perimeter formula is perimeter is equal to 2 times length plus width. Okay, so we can take our lengths and widths and number and fill that in to solve. So if I have perimeter is equal to 2 times 15 plus 20, okay, well then we can fill that out a little bit more. We can solve for our parentheses first. 2 times, well, what's 15 plus 20? 15 plus 20 would give us 35. Then we can solve from there. So 35 plus 35 is going to give us 70. So perimeter is equal to 70 feet. Okay. And because it's a word problem, we are always going to like you guys to have an answer statement for your question. So we would say the perimeter, perimeter of the screen, I can spell today, in the auditorium is 70 feet. Okay. So if you guys are working on this out, you know, you're working on it on your whiteboards, showing us your work is going to be really important, especially when we get, when you guys are doing this on your practice problem set sheets that you guys will be getting this week. Because if we are just looking at a problem and we're not figuring it out, we're guessing because it's a multiple choice question, or we're just plugging something in, that we're really not solving the problem. Okay, so I really want you guys to be making sure that you guys are working the problem out on paper, on a whiteboard, doing it with me if you want, because that's what we would be doing in the classroom, to really make sure you're understanding what's happening. Okay? All right, let's do one more together. So number 2, the width of David's rectangular tent is 5 feet. That's going to be important. Okay, so I'm going to highlight that. The length is twice the width. That's going to also be important. So let's highlight that. David's rectangular air mattress measures 3 feet by 6 feet. If David puts the air mattress in the tent, how many square feet of floor space will be available for the rest of his things? So remember, when I talked about area is everything that is going to take up the space inside your rectangular square. So if we are talking about floor space, they're talking about the area. How much area is he going to have left in the tent? Okay. So this is also going to be important. His air mattress is 3 feet by 6 feet. So if David puts the air mattress in the tent, how many square feet of floor space will be available for the rest of his things? I'm going to highlight that because that's our question. That's what we're trying to figure out. Okay. All right. So let's see what we want to do first. So the width of David's rectangular tent is 5 feet and the length is twice the width. Well, what's twice 5 2 times, right? Twice the width. 5 times 2 is 10. So we can say the width. Trying to maneuver a new system is always tricky. So we can say the tent is equal to 5 feet by 10 feet. Okay, so that's our, let me rewrite that. So tent is equal to, the width is 5 feet and the length, it told us is twice as long, so we know that 5 times 2 is 10. Okay. So we can draw that out just like we did in our last one to represent what we're working with here. Okay. So I'm just going to change that up a little bit. So we can say this is 10 feet. I don't want to do that. I had a feeling it was going to do that. And this is, come on, work with me here. There we go. 5 feet. Okay. So for us to find the area of the tent, we can use our formula. So remember, the formula is to find area. Area is our length times our width. So area equals length times width. Okay. So if we know that the tent here is 5 by 10, then we can take our length times width. So area is going to be equal to 5 times 10. Well, what is 5 times 10? 5 times 10 is going to give us 50 feet. So we know the area of the tent is 50 feet. Okay. All right. So if we, but then we have the air mattress, right? So they're saying, well, if we put the air mattress in here, if we put the air mattress in here, how much space left, excuse me, is he going to have? What did it tell us about the air mattress? The air mattress is 3 feet by 6 feet. So we need to find the area of the air mattress. So I'm going to come down here to do that. I'm not all the way down there. And we know that area is length times width. So if we know that our air mattress is 3 feet by 6 feet, then we can take our 3 by 6, 3 times 6. What is 3 times 6? Remember, those basic facts are going to come in play. So that's going to equal 18 feet. We're not quite to our answer yet. So it said if he puts the air mattress in there, so we know that this air mattress right here is going to, let me fill that a different color so we can really see it. So we know that this air mattress here is going to take up 18 feet. And the total amount of feet in the tent was 50 feet. So how can we find the difference? Oh, I just gave you a clue. When we want to know the difference in something, we need to use subtraction. So we're going to take our total area that we had in the tent minus the amount of area that the air mattress took up. So we're going to take 50 minus 18. Okay. And we've been working with subtraction. There's a few different ways you can do this. You can do, set it up as your standard algorithm. You can count up. You can say, well, 2 more would be 30. And then 20 more would be 50. So you can kind of use your, or 30 more would be 50. So you can use your counting up skills. However you want to do the subtraction, that's up to you, okay? But 50 minus 18 is going to give us 32 feet. Remember, with a word problem, I want to write my answer statement. So my question said, if David puts the air mattress in the tent, how many square feet of floor space will be available for the rest of his things? So we flip that into an answer. So we can say, the air mattress will take up 18 feet of floor space. So David will have 32 feet of floor space for the rest of his things. Really making sure that we're answering the question with these multi-step word problems. They've talked a lot about how it is super easy for us to answer the first part. So maybe some of you may have thought we were done when we found the area of the tent. That's not what it was looking for. So you have to be really careful and make sure you're answering the question it's asking and not just part of the problem. Okay? All right, you guys, so I'm going to give you one more and you guys can go back through the video to rewatch. You don't have to, it's not a quiz. Okay, it's checking for understanding. So if you're still confused, go back through the video, watch what we did, make sure you're writing your formulas down for area and perimeter, and make sure you're solving on paper or a whiteboard. Okay, I can't do this stuff in my head. I have to work things out. That's how math works. Okay, we really have to be working it out. All right, you guys, good job today. Work hard, and we'll see you guys soon. Have a great day.